I don't know if I could hear what I'm saying. Okay, so what is this video about? It's live, obviously. Yet again, I have 0 viewers on my. Obviously, because you see me sitting down for once. I have 0 videos on. I'm sorry, 0 viewers on my video. So, let me go over in case you're unaware, or you're in the midst of the gray area between using a VPN and then you're not using a VPN. It saves somebody who's on YouTube viewers. They can obviously see that there is some principle behind the viewership. You get monetization, right? Obviously, so a few other factors, but right here. So what is this live about? You might ask, I'm like, well, I was born on October 8th. I was like, what made more sense than doing a live about October 8th than making a live video on YouTube? I have 50 views, 50 viewer, or I'm sorry, 50 subscriber, or at least 50 subscriber, like 60, I think. So why not make a viewership video about October 8th? And some people may know October 8th as the day after the Palestinian-Israeli attack, but might as well give some key takeaways. So, this video is basically to go over the key takeaways of October 8th, right? As a holiday, or, in the constraints of like death or birth or what happened on October 8th, I mean, to that, war or whatever, Israeli, Palestinian conflict might be considered like Resistance Day or something like that. So, ironically enough, if you're looking at the births, and this is a quick one, I know, October 7th is my brother's birthday. I'm just joking. This is my brother's birthday. Actually, we're 10 years and 1 day apart, but also it's Vladimir Putin's birthday. So, do know that one. So let me go give you the key takeaways of October 8th, obviously. And if you count it right, I'm October 8th, 32 years old. So if you count it all the way there, you'll figure out my age. And again, like if you're worried about this ring, it's been insured. October 8th is the 281st day of the year, 282nd in leap years. In the Georgian calendar, 84 days remain until the end of the year. And if you're wondering, like, can I see this on my screen? No, you're not going to see this on the screen because basically, and this is basically, I don't know how to do that. And again, here's a reminder, I have literally 0 viewers right here. So going on key takeaways here, 314, I suppose that's AD. Constantine I defeats Roman Emperor Licinius, Licinius, who loses his European territories. 451 AD, the first session of the Council of Chalcedon begins. 876, Frankish forces led by Louis the Younger prevent a West Frankish invasion. There's more to it, so I can go more of the key takeaways, but let's go dive into the what happened on October 8th. So October 8th is the 281st day of the year. We went that in the Gregorian calendar. 84 days remain until the end of the year. So I'm not sure if that's relevant or not. We just had a holiday for 4th of July, so it's not really significant. If you're just learning about the calendar, I suppose it's not really so significant how many days there are. And some aspects, back in the day, like people would count. There's a calendar specifically for counting those things, and Lent and things like that within the constraints of Christianity, but not many people use it anymore. It's more of like a calendar for I forget what it's called, like an Adventant calendar or something like that. But yeah, I don't think it's really used anymore. So let's go on here. Pre 1600, there's a list of dates here about kings Roman emperors. Let's see, there's Dimitar Sivamir, was crowned king of Croatia in 1075. Constantine I defeats Roman Emperor Lenicus, who loses his European territories 314. We went over that one. The first session of the Council of Chalcedon begins in 451. And I'm not sure if these are relevant. I mean, I would say for American culture, Western culture, it would be more relevant for common day, at least in the United States. So, I mean, this is, what you might see in the United States. I mean, if you went to a museum and you had a job at a museum and you were, within the school system a lot, you would maybe take more remorse or technical specificity about, like these ideas of like romance or like, history, basically. I would say like they're not really relevant. Like you wouldn't correspond like, Saturday to like something Greek mythology or like Italian, like Renaissance or like a Lupo or something like that. That's unheard of. Again, specifically, I mean, you have like the King James Bible in the United States. In some cultures, it's more in depth, like Protestant, in some spectacle, ways. So, again, that's what you can see. It's not like, one grammar system, like historical system, you wouldn't see that here unless you're like a reference, like a historian, like with a master's or, doctorate degree, or possibly 2 doctorate degrees. So that's just, like a check, like if you're unaware of that. So, going on, there's, battles here within, up to the 1600s, right? But I think 1573 here is the oldest one. End of the Spanish siege of Alcamar, the first Dutch victory in the 80 Years' War. So I guess that's when it ended, or supposedly ended. So 1601 to 1900, and then it shows some dates here. Jean Mons opens the first lay hospital of North American Montreal, so that's an interesting one. 1813, the Treaty of Reed is signed between Bavaria and Austria. 1821, the Peruvian Navy is established during the War of Independence. 1829, Stevenson's rocket wins the Rain Hill trials. So, I mean, there's a lot of it. In 1862, the American Civil War, it's not really relevant to a lot of the outside, countries, especially Europe, Middle East, or Asia. There's a second Opium War between several Western powers, and China begins with the Aero incident. It is relevant, some sort of dispute, I suppose. I mean, it's a lot of foresight in religion and things like that. That at least that one. So, it shows there's drought and accidents there. War of the Pacific, Battle of Agamos, 1895. Korean Empress Ming Seong is assassinated by Japanese infiltrators. 1901 to present. 1912, the first Balkan War begins with the Montenegro, declares war against the Ottoman Empire. Obviously, I think, I don't know. So, from what I heard, Franz Ferdinand assassinated, but what was it? The literal. The Dutch, or not the highest, they killed someone, right? So I'm not sure. So it says the first Balkan War. I don't think that was, the instance in this instance, right? But let's see, comprehensive. Let's see if it shows a background. This is the tensions there. The Young Turk Revolution in July 1908. Bosnian Turks. I don't think it had relative to do with the date here. Let's see, signed on 7th of March, October 18th. King Peter I of Serbia issued a declaration to the Serbian people, which appears to support Albanians as well as Serbs. I'm not seeing that one. I don't think had to do with a specific date here. Let's see here. The League and Ottoman Empire mobilized their armies in late September. Montenegro was the first to declare war on 25th of September. OS, let's see, what does that mean? OS, old style, new style, indicating dating systems before and after a calendar change. okay, or October 8th. So it would have been October 8th today, I suppose, rather than 25th of September. After issuing an impossible ultimatum to the Ottoman ports on 13th of October, Bulgaria, Serbia, and Greece declared war on the Ottomans on 17th October 1912. The declarations of war attracted a large number of correspondents and established 200 to 300 journalists from around the world covered the war in the Balkans in November of 1912. So, I mean, I see it. I mean, I could look up, when Franz Ferdinand got assassinated. Ferdinand's assassination. Okay, so it shows, let's see, 1914, on June 28th, of Sarajevo, Bosnia, and Herzegovina. So, oh gosh, annoying. So let's see. Basically, let's remember a minute here. Basically, the assassination happens. Let's see, June 28th, 1914, right? So the First Balkan War was 1912 to 1913, or to May 1913. So that's, the assassination happened in 1914. Okay, so it's 1912 to May 1913, which was the First Balkan War. And then in 1914, June 28th, it was the assassination of Franz Ferdinand. So, okay, so that was October 8th. The First Balkan War happened. Give or take, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, that's the old calendar versus the new calendar there. So maybe a little history of the Balkan War there might be relevant. Again, let me say 0 viewers here. So, okay, now we go on to, later dates here. World War I, 1918, Corporal Alvin C. York kills 28 soldiers and captures 132, for which he was awarded the Medal of Honor. And let's give a little detail into Alvin Cullum York, also known by his rank as Sergeant York, was an American soldier who was one of the most decorated United States Army soldiers of World War I. He received the Medal of Honor for leading an attack on a German machine gun nest, gathering 35 machine guns, killing at least, I suppose, 28 or something. So, interesting. Okay, so let's go on. 1921, KDKA in Pittsburgh's Forbes Field conducts the first live broadcast of a football game. Probably relevant to some sort of peace treaty, peacekeeping. I mean, all that technology works like a motor, right? So it's kind of like a video game spill, like in animation loops and like static, basically. I'm sure it's hard to explain to like a kid or something like that, but basically. Like you confuse like 3 versus 4, right, in that situation. So that would make more sense, right? But the question is, like versus what? I mean, 4 to 8, right? But it would work from 3 to something else because it wouldn't be even, right? The communication like boundary, within communications, like if you convert letters or like characters or things like that, in other languages, it might convert to a different like system, like 4 or 8, right? Like in Russian, it's like 4 or 8, right? But in English, what is it? I'm not entirely sure, so it's something you might want to look up in cryptography. Basically, let's go on here. 1939, World War II, Germany annexes Western Poland. Obviously a horrible thing. Following the invasion of Poland at the beginning of the World War II, nearly a quarter of the entire territory of the Second Polish Republic was annexed by Nazi Germany and placed directly under the German civil administration. The rest of Nazi-occupied Poland was renamed. 1941, World War II, during the preliminaries of the Battle of Rostov, German forces reached the Sea of Azov with the capture of Mariupol. Okay. So, 1943, World War II, around 30 civilians are executed by Friedrich Schubert's paramilitary group in Kallikratis, Crete. So I'm not sure if Frederick Schubert's, it doesn't really, oh, here it is. The Kallikratis executions were for the mass execution by German army and Greek collaborationist paramilitary forces of some 30 mostly male civilians of Kallikratis in southwest Crete on 8th of October 1943. Kretikis was declared a martyred village in October of 2018. That's the tea kettle going right now, so maybe we'll wait for it to settle, but I could keep going. Obviously, Europeans don't, pay the bills, right? So obviously, that is what it is. So basically, there it is. That's a pretty loud tea kettle there is right there. So, going on, basically. Let's see, the next one here is 1944 World War II. Captain Bobby Brown earns a Medal of Honor for his actions during the Battle of Crucifix Hill, just outside of Aachen. So, Battle of Crucifix Hill has a World War II battle that took place on 8th of October 1944 on Crucifix Hill next to the village of Harien in Germany, and was a part of the U.S. 1st Division campaign to seize Aachen, Germany. The Battle of Aachen was part of the drive to the Siegfried Line. Okay, and I think that was the last one of the World War II. Historical perspectives for October 8th, apparently, according to this. So going on here, 1952, the Harrow and Wealdstone rail crash kills 112 people, a whole lot of people. 1956, the New York Yankees' Don Larsen pitches the only perfect game in a World Series. Okay, and then going into his profile here. Don James Larsen was an American professional baseball pitcher during a 15-year Major League Baseball MLB career. He pitched from 1953 to 1967 for 7 different teams: the St. Louis Browns, Baltimore Orleans, New York Yankees, 1955 to 1959, and Kansas City Athletics. So going on, Der Spiegel publishes an article disclosing the sorry state of the Bundeswehr and is soon accused of treason. The Bundeswehr is the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Germany. The Bundeswehr is divided into a military and civilian parts. The military part consisting of the German Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Joint Support Service, the Joint Medical Service, and Cyber. And something else there. It always cuts you off on what is Wikipedia. So obviously, going on here, 1967, guerrilla leader Che Guevara and his men are captured in Bolivia. Some say good, some say bad. Some, obviously think he's a hero. Some think he's, evil incarnate. Obviously, that was the teapot turning off, shutting off. Okay, so going on here, 1969, the opening rally of the Days of Rage occurs, organized by the Weather Underground in Chicago. Okay, and then 1970, Alexander Solzhenitsyn wins the Nobel Prize in Literature. What did he write that's so important? Let's find out. Alexander Iskshov Solzhenitsyn was a Russian author and Soviet dissident who helped raise global awareness of political... Oh, there went my battery for a second. Let's see, was a Russian author and Soviet dissident who helped to raise global awareness of political repression in the Soviet Union, especially the Gulag prison system. He was awarded the 1970 Nobel Prize in Literature for the ethical force. And it doesn't really say, it just kind of it goes over it. 1973 Yom Kippur War. Israel loses more than 150 tanks in a failed attack on Egyptian occupied positions. So, there's an instance of, death in Israel there. So the Yom Kippur War, also known as the Ramadan War, the October War, the 1973 Arab-Israeli War, or the Fourth Arab-Israeli War, was an armed conflict fought from the 6th to the 25th of October 1973 between Israeli and a coalition of Arab states led by Egypt, Syria. So that is what that is there. 1973, Cypros Markinizis begins his 48 term as a prime minister in an abortive attempt to lead Greece to parliamentary rule. And then, again, I can give you a little information about him. Spyros, or Machinias Spyridon, was a Greek politician, a longtime member of the Hellenic Parliament, and briefly the prime minister of Greece during the aborted attempt of Metapolisky democratization of the Greek military regime in 1973. So it is good, it is bad, I suppose. 1974, Franklin National Bank collapses due to fraud and mismanagement. At the time, it is the largest bank failure in the history of the United States. So yeah, that's what that is. Yeah, I mean, nobody wants a bank to fail, obviously. 1978, Australia's Ken Warby sets the current world water speed record of 275.97 knots at Blowering Dam, Australia. 1982, Poland bans solidarity in all other trade unions. What is solidarity? You might want to know. It's not some scribble, obviously, that you might think it is. Solidarity, full name, Independent Self-Governing Trade Union Solidarity, is a Polish trade union founded in August 1980 at the Linen Shipyard in Gdańsk, Poland. Subsequently, it was the first independent trade union in a Warsaw Pact country to be recognized by the state. So, good. Maybe bad. Some people, say it's a bad thing. Solidarity is a bad thing. It was communist. It was treasonous. It was terrorist. And I mean, the terrorist, part of it. So, I mean, I guess that's why they banned it. So, this is what this is, basically. Okay, so let's go on. 1982, after its London premiere, Cats opens on Broadway and runs the nearly 18 years before closing on September 10th, 2000. 1990, first Intifada, Israeli police kill 17 Palestinians and wound over 100 near the Dome of the Rock. Interesting. So the first Intifada, also known as the first Palestinian Intifada or the Stone Intifada, was a sustained series of protest acts of civil disobedience and riots carried out by Palestinians in Israeli-occupied Palestinian territories in Israel. It was motivated by collective Palestinian. Let me see if I can read more of it. Israel. It was motivated by collective Palestinian frustration over Israelis' military occupation of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. As it approached a 20-year mark, having begun the wake of the 1967 Arab-Israeli War, the uprising lasted from December 1987 until the Madrid Conference of 1991. Through some date, its conclusion to 1993 with the signing of the Oslo Accords, obviously. So let me continue reading here. Okay. Let me continue here. The Intifada, or Infida, began on 9th of December 1987 in the Jabalia refugee camp after an Israeli truck driver collided with a civilian car, killing 4 Palestinian workers, 3 of whom were the Jabalian refugee camp. And then I could read a little bit about that. I guess it doesn't really have a thing. Jabalia, also spelled Jabalia, is a city in Palestine located 4 kilometers, 2.5 miles north of Gaza City in the North Gaza governorate of the Gaza Strip. According to the Palestinian Central Bureau of Statistics, Jabalia had a population of 172,704. In 2017, the Jabalia refugee camp is adjacent to the city. And it doesn't really say. Obviously, it cuts you off there. So let me go on there. Let's see. Palestinians charge that the collision has a deliberate response for the killing of an Israeli in Gaza days earlier. Israel denied that the crash, which came at the time of heightened tensions, was intentional or coordinated. The Palestinian response was characterized by protests, civil disobedience, and violence. So there was some violence and disobedience. Disobedience, could be, good thing and bad thing. I would say most reporters would categorize it, as a disturbance. So protest would be one thing. A civil disobedience, and if you're learning English, could be a completely different thing. Even though you might say it's completely wrong, I've said the same exact thing. Civil disobedience could mean more than one thing, and that could be a crime, that could be murder, that could be a lot of things. So you have to kind of see it, the way you have to see it. It's not always like Hollywood, where it's unintentional murder or homicide, neglect in a way, accidental or accident happened. He shot himself while I was trying to discharge a gun. It's not really like that. It's more of a it's who has the marbles in the situation. You know what I'm saying? Who stole the money, who had formalis, basically, in more of a criminology or criminal mindset, basically. And again, that adds up to those repros of criminal justice. Did he do harm? Did he intend to do harm? And then also how long did he do harm? Or was he did he have motive in the situation, or was he aggravated? So in a case of aggravation, you would have the more formalis, right, which would be the crime. You've already committed a crime in some tense, right? And then you also have something reprise. So you've committed crime before and you have an infraction or some sort of law you've broken, right? It might be low level, but it's what we call distinguished, in a crime setting, kind of summary, or versus some places might be considered virtuous crime, right? But I don't have formalis, or I don't know about it. So that intent or formalis is what might be considered the mindematis, right? The criminal mindset. So yeah, it's kind of standard law. It's kind of probation or parole. You shouldn't break those things. Probation is a lot easier going than parole, right? Because it could involve petty theft or something that might be a nuisance for the community. And it might not seem that way, right? But it happens to a lot of people, and even though civilian, ideas within criminal mindset might be different, the correspondence is can be different sometimes. Could have to do with infrastructure, mass casualties, those are things, and then other things like poisonings. Nobody likes those. But I'm not a lawyer. You should always consult a lawyer. Get things in writing, obviously, even if it is French or something else. So those are the best things to do. Here it says that these contrasted with civilian efforts, including general strikes, boycotts of Israeli civilian administration institutions in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, an economic boycott consisting of refusal work in Israeli settlements on Israeli products, refusal to pay taxes, and refusal to drive Palestinian cars with Israeli licenses. And those were one thing. That's one thing criminal mindset might do, which is drive cars without Israeli licenses. Other things like boycotting, certain things. Within taxes, it's a little bit unreasonable for I would say any international law. But again, you have to equivocate, like, the water, all the things you need. Those are like necessities. Like forbearance, formalistic psychology concept, like, are you establishing, like the idea of like not protecting a certain class of people, like that would be a crime, right? That would be, like an intent to hurt a protected person, right? Like even if the person you didn't want protected, those resources have to be protected. And like, again, with international law, they are separate in a way, like, kind of logistical support, like coordination is the same way. Anything, that's for that purpose is usually for protecting, infrastructure in those situations of people. So you just kind of have to think it like, straight, if you didn't do that, I mean, you would have to, take it to court basically, right? And does it go to international court if, like, there's no court recognized in a situation? I mean, in an Israeli-Palestinian conflict, it might go to an international court. So I just kind of have to see it, like the proof is in the pudding. I mean, it doesn't take, a tin can, right, to say, like, my fucking people are dying, right? Or it doesn't take marbles with a bit of, right there, it's Palladium if you watch the other video. It doesn't take those things. It takes, like a contract, NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and then you basically sign it over to a contributing, like somebody who's overseeing, the issue. Like, it could be Russia, it could be Egypt, it could be, collateralized. I'm sorry, not collateralized. A coalition of nations, basically, that would oversee, both things. Not through retaliation, that would be illegal through international court, but through a coalition mindset. And then, why doesn't it work that way? Well, because the coalitions, sometimes fall apart. Obviously, people don't show up. That happens a lot with coalitions with like international law. Sometimes you get despite it. So in like criminal law, which is like advocacy like law, advocate like law in international courts, you wouldn't necessarily represent said party. You would represent something, but you'd have to look up all these laws. You should consult a lawyer if you need those things, obviously. But the forbearance, obviously is the point of the contract, which is, like, what is forbearance, Austin? Like, let me tell you what forbearance is right now. It's not an individual or stake, it's not like giving a thumbs up or like, being the viewing party of any recreational like support or action or contract, right? It's the significant time, right? It's not like time, like, like it's time, right? It's like, the forbearance, like communication method. It's not like, throwing like a party. It's not drinking, obviously at the party, right? But it is, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm just saying things like, what I'm saying. It's kind of like, the idea of decay, right? So like if you take pictures of things and you support evidence, like you get a camera and you're like, or like you get paper. It's all called evidence, real life. You take that evidence, you put it in a box, and then you put it away, send it to your lawyer, and you're kind of like, yeah, this is the evidence. And they're like, yeah, like you have enough supporting evidence to get in the news or, get your story heard by a court, right? And it's not always the way, like, a court will hear it. It takes like, rational protesting, like, like a mindset that works, right? I mean, you need to stay safe at the same time. So you kind of have to think, I have my marbles, if I have my food, I have to stay safe, what I'm saying? So always be there and have, water on you. So you're like, how do I do that? And you're like, oh, gosh, I do not know. Maybe bringing the insight into the situation. What is insight? Insight is like, what happened right there. So, some easy things like, like, I don't want that. Like, obviously that makes sense. You need the marbles here. So, I mean, I'm again, no lawyer. I'm no, what is it called? Doctor, right? I'm no doctor. I'm no doctor. I just own, run a business. I just started, again, as zero viewers and, zero, what is it called? Thumbs up? Whatever that's called. So let me go on here. We'll stop reading about the first intifada, which is probably bad in the sense like there's Molotov cocktails and things like that. Even though it's like kind of low key, when we call it key to key, we keep the key in the system. So that's how we put it in programming world. So our database world. Okay. So basically, let's go on here. 1991, upon the expiration of the Brianai Agreement, Croatia and Slovenia severed all official relations with Yugoslavia. The Brialani Agreement, also known as the Brialani Declaration, is a document signed by representatives of Slovenia, Croatia, Yugoslavia under the political sponsorship of European Community EC on the Brigiani Islands of 7th of July 1991. The agreement sought to create something. So there it is. Okay, I have 13% left on my battery, so I will continue until that battery is dead. Plus, I got to read some more information, and you'll really enjoy what's coming up on this special, obviously, for what October 8th happened. Obviously, one of, to me, a good day, because I was born that day. So, okay. All right, so let's go on then. Let me go, actually. And again, let me say I have 0 viewers and 0 thumbs up, so it is... a cataclash. If you understand that word, you get a bonus 100 points. So, okay, so 1991, well, actually, no, it goes on, it skips to 2001. All of those little things, they don't matter. So, we'll go on. So, whatever that's about, that's what that is. It skips to 2001. A twin-engine Cessna and Scandinavian Airlines systems jetliner collide in heavy fog during takeoff from Milan, Italy, killing 118 people. So, yeah, that's a lot of death right there. Linate airport disaster occurred in Italy at Linate Airport in Milan on the morning of October 8th, 2001. Scandinavian Airlines System Flight 686, a McDonnell, not like McDonald, it's like McDonnell, Douglas MD-87 airliner carrying 110 people bound for Copenhagen, Denmark, collided on takeoff with a Cessna, I suppose. So, interesting. Okay, 2001, U.S. President George announces the establishment of the Office of Homeland Security. My birthday, the Office of Homeland Security. Interesting. I didn't know that. I did not know that. So, going on, obviously going on. Like a little secret to myself now. Okay, all right, so 2005, the 7.6 M subunit W Kashmir earthquake leaves 86,000 to 87,351 people dead, 69,000 to 75,266 injured, and 2.8 million homeless people. So what is the Kashmir earthquake? Let me tell you what the Kashmir earthquake is, obviously, and let me check. 0 viewers and 0 thumbs up. So an earthquake occurred at 8 hour 50 minutes and 39 seconds Pakistan Standard Time on October 8th, 2005. And where? May I? Yeah. Okay. In Azad, Jammu and Kashmir, a territory under Pakistan, it was centered near the city of Muzaffarabad, and also affected nearby Balakot in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and some areas of Jammu Kashmir, India. So, interesting. That's an interesting concept. So, there we go again. Another crazy thing that happened. That sounds terrible. 86,000 people dead. Sounds pretty bad to me. And it's a 7.6 MW. I don't even know what that is. So, okay. Where was I? I think I was in first year of high school, actually. So, interesting. Okay, so 2014, like, now I'm a bad guy, like I'm God, like striking thunderbolts down the ground. Obviously, I'm not like that. So, all right, let's go on here. 2014, Thomas Eric Duncan, the first person in the United States to be diagnosed with Ebola, dies. Interesting. 2016, in the wake of Hurricane Matthew, the death toll rises to nearly 900. Terrible. 2019, about 200 Extinction Rebellion activists blocked the gates of Lindsayre House Parliament in the Republic of Ireland. Am I Irish? Do I associate with Irish? Not really. Not so much. Large cultural differences there. So I'm from the United States. Their behavior of radicalism is unacceptable. So put it there. 2020, second Nagorno-Karabakh War. Azerbaijan twice deliberately targeted the Church of the Holy Savior of Gazich of Susha. So what is all this? I don't know. Let me put it out. The second Nagorno-Karabakh War was an armed conflict in 2020 that took place within the disputed region of Nagorno-Karabakh and the surrounding occupied territories. There was a major escalation of the resolved conflict of the region involving Azerbaijan, and I don't know. So Azerbaijan is a republic. Azerbaijan is a transcontinental country located in the boundary of Eastern Europe and the West Asia. It is a part of the South Caucasus region and is bounded by the Caspian Sea to the east, Russian Republic of Dagestan to the north, or Dagestan to the north, and Georgia to the something. The Church of the Holy Savior of Gazich shows up. The Holy Savior Cathedral, commonly referred to the Gazich, is the American Apostolic Cathedral in the Susha in Azerbaijan. It is the cathedral of the Diocese of Artsakhan. Okay, the battery almost died there again. It is the cathedral of the Diocese of Astrakhan of the Marian Apostolic Church, standing 35 meters, 115 feet high. Gazich is one of the largest Armenian churches in the world. So that is what it is. And then Susha is something else. Susha. Susha is a place in Kabaran Mountains, mountain resort in the Soviet era. So it is what it is. Okay, and then 2023, 1 year ago almost. 2023, the 2023 Israeli-Hamas war is declared during the Hamas attack the day prior. Crazy. And that was the end of the timeline. So we have births here, and then we have presents, people who were born there, a whole lot there. Obviously, like a whole page. Just it's a ton of them, and that's it. That's the whole list. So maybe we'll go on to all the people alive and dead, or not dead, on October 8th, obviously. So okay, I'll just list them up. I won't put the dates in there. So it is what it is. Prithias of Arupias, Nerapathesu, king of Burman, Margaret Douglas, daughter of Archibald Douglas, Giulio Cacchini, Italian composer, Jacques Auguste Dethieux, French historian, Heinrich Schultz, German organist and composer. Those were pre-1600, 1601 to 1900. John Clark, English physician. Bintio Germano Ferrio Montenegro, a Spanish monk and scholar. Yezkiel Lendu, a Polish rabbi and author. Michael Bienist, French scientist and missionary. Jean-François Rubel, French lawyer and politician. Princess Sofia Albrigtian of Sweden. Harman Blindharst, English-Irish lawyer and politician. Hassett Blindner Hassiet. John Ruggles, American lawyer and politician. William John Swansea, English New Zealand ornithologist and entomologist. Harriet Taylor Mill, English philosopher and activist. John Hingler Reagan, American judge and politician, third Confederate States Secretary of the Treasury. Going on here. Walter Kittredge, American violinist and composer. Solomon Kasher, German pianist, composer and physicist. Rose Scott, Australian activist. Pierre de Guittard, Belgian composer. Henry Louis Le Chatelier, French chemist and academic. John the Baton, or Baden, English painter, printmaker, and illustrator. Edith Chapman, American actress. I'm just joking. I don't have a French accent. Ozias Lidek, Canadian painter and educator. Louis Villon, a French organist and composer. Mary Engel Pennington, American bacteriologist or bacteriological chemist and refrigeration engineer. Ejnar Hortsprung, Danish chemist and astronomer. Yeah. Alexei Shuzhev, Russian architect in academic design, Lenin Mausoleum. Lawrence Doherty. I think I started doing strange things. English tennis player and golfer. Frederick Montague, first Baron Armwell, English lieutenant and politician. Hans Hazen, German Australian painter. Okay. Hunty Gordon, Canadian American actor. Harry McClintock, American singer-songwriter and poet. How many viewers? 0. So I guess this will just be a little bit of recording. So, okay. Let's go on here. Hans Heslin, German Australian painter. Before that, it was Frederick Montague, first Baron Armwell, English politician. Hans Heesen, German Australian painter. Huntley Gordon, Canadian American actor. Harry McClintock, American singer, songwriter, and poet. Dick Burnett, American singer, songwriter, and guitarist. Otto Heinrich Warburg, German physiologist and physician, Nobel Prize laureate. Walther von Richthofen, German field marshal, Peng Bodhi, American baseball player. Donnie Bush, American baseball player, manager, and team owner. Ernest Kretschmer, German physicist or psychiatrist and author. R. Fraser Armstrong, Canadian engineer. Colette E. Woolman, American businessman, co-founded Delta Airlines. Snuffy Brown, barbarian cricketer. Eddie Rickenbacker, American soldier and pilot, Medal of Honor recipient. Philip Thies, Belgian cyclist. Marina Tisvia, Russian poet and author. Clarence Williams, American pianist and composer. Zog One of Albania. Juan Perón, Argentinian general and politician, 29th president of Argentina. Julien Duvivier, French director, producer, and screenwriter. Ruben Mamoulian, Georgian American director and screenwriter. Marcel Harand, French actor. And then that was from 1600s or 1600 to 1800 or almost 1900. So 1901 to present. Okay, so gosh, that's a lot of information to take in there. A lot. Another something. So 1901 to present. 1900. Let me not say the dates, obviously. Evren Groven, Norwegian composer and theorist. Mark Ophelant, Australian physicist, humanitarian, and politician. Governor of South Australia. Gregory Jesiv, Bulgarian chess player. Yves Giraud Cabantos, French rare car driver. Crazy. Okay. Richard Sharpe Chever, American author and illustrator. Ezvikas Papiano, Greek Cypriot politician. Kirk Ayon, American actor, or Ellen, I'm sorry. Paulette Dubost, French actress. Gus Hall, American soldier and politician. Helmut Kamir, German chemist and soldier. Ray Lewis, Canadian runner. Robert R. Gilruth, American pilot and engineer. Marius, Marius Markirantos, Roman Catholic Archbishop of Athens. Billy Kahn, American boxer. Walter Lord, American historian and author. Danny Murtaugh, American baseball player, coach, and manager. Rodney Robert Porter, English biochemist and physiologist, Nobel Prize laureate. Halfdan Hagtun, Norwegian radio host and politician. Jens Christian Skou, Danish chemist and physiologist, Nobel Prize laureate. Jack McGrath, American race car driver. Kiichi Mizowa, Japanese politician, 78th Prime Minister of Japan. Frank Herbert, American journalist, photographer, and author. Abraham Surimanto, Filipino lawyer and jurist. Nils Lidholm, Swedish footballer, coach, and manager. Herbert B. Leonard, American production manager and producer. Alphonse Edgley, Swiss lawyer and politician, 77th president of Swiss Confederation. And I'm just going to list the names. That's like way too much information. Lizano Lescheider, Thirunorlur Kurunakaran, John Nelder, he's an English mathematician, statistician. Alvaro Magana, Ra Kumar, Jim Elliott, Caesar Milstein, Didi, M. Russell Ballard, Neil Harvey, Bill Maynard, Betty Withrow, Pepper Adams, Eldistar Milling, Faith Ringgold, Toru Takemitsu, Bill Brown, Ray Reynolds, Katar Esmol, Jerry Hitchens, James Hosthaller, Albert Rue, Rana Barrett, and she's alive still. Mary Park, she's alive still too. A lot of people are dead before that. Paul Schell, William Corlett, Walter Gretzky, Bronislovas Lubsky, Fred Stoll, he's alive. Paul Hogan. Paul Hogan's an actor, I guess, isn't he? It's Paul Hogan. Oh, yeah, he's an actor. He's Crocodile Dundee, I guess. So, Australian actor. Okay. All right. Elvira Ozanina, Harvey Picard, Lynn Stewart, Fred Cash. Who's Fred Cash is related to? No, he's an American soul singer. Maybe African American, maybe from the United States. Maybe not. Who knows? So, okay. All right. So going on here, George Bellamy, Jesse Jackson, Shane Stevens, Stanley Bates, Chevy Chase. Oh, we shared the same birthday. Crazy. R.L. Stein, American author, screenwriter, and producer. Oh, do I know who that is? I don't, but he wrote Goosebumps. Interesting. Ed Kirkpatrick, Susan Rain, American singer. Interesting. Most notably, LA International Airport. Interesting. Who knew? Who knew? Okay. Let's see. It reminds me of a clothing outlet from LA. You know, it had my initials on it. But anyways, going on. Ed Kirkpatrick, Susan Rain. I think we just went over Susan Rain, obviously. Hannah Ashrawi, a Palestinian scholar, activist, and politician. Maybe she's relevant to something. 1946. Hannah Dud Mikar Ashrawi is a Palestinian politician, activist, and scholar. It doesn't really say much about her right there, but about her design, and I have to go through everything, every last thing. I could spell her name out, obviously, if I can find it with my eyes. Right there. Hanan, Hanan, space Ashrawi. So, okay. Okay. So John Jacques Bin Rix, French director and producer, he died in 2022. Dennis Kurich, journalist and politician, mayor of Cleveland. Bell Mooney, John Ikrod, Richard Morris, Emil Putemas, a Belgian runner. Stephen Shore, American photographer and educator. Bill Zorn, Haska Yogarandra, Benjamin Cheever, Claude Jod, Johnny Ramone, Michael Goggin, Irish Republican, Hamish Stewart, Sigmund Weaver, Robert Cool-Bell, Blake Morrison, Jack O'Connell, Tim O'Sullivan, Shannon C. Stimson, Adrian Palmer, 4th Baron Palmer, Takis Komarenios, John Marigson, Edward Zwick, Robert Saxon, Michael Dudikoff, Uba Rothagatter, Bill Elliott, Alan Furte, Daryl Hammond, Paul Lennon, Lonnie Pitchford, Jeff Lottie, Janice Evos, Stephanie Zimbalist, Antonio Cabrini, Steve Cole, Brett Lott, Ruffin McNeil, Ursula von der Leyen, and I'll keep going on here. If I can remember where I was at. Okay. Tommy Armour the third, Nick Becke, Gavin Friday, Eric Gunderson, Peter Horrocks, Mike Morgan, Carlos Juan Noriga, Andrea Anastea, Reed Hastings, Rano Carno, Raf Minge, Francis Perus, Mike Teague, Stephen Burstein, John Stevens, Simon Burke, Ted Kushian, Kim Wayans. Keep going on here. Richard Leonard, Bruno 30, Chin Zianezia, Steve Perry, Jacob Arjani, Ian Hart, Cece Winans, Matt Bayadi, Ardal Hanan, Kari Koshella, CJ Ramon, Art Barr, Kania Parsons, John Rives, Teddy Riley, Ali Bin Bari, Zivamir Baban, Emily Proctor, CL Smooth, Leroy Thorhill, Jeremy Davis, Diane Neal, Matthew Nijdola Chu, Matt Damon, Anne Mary Duff, Sadiq Khan. Okay. let's go on. Let's see how many time, how much battery I have left here. 3%, obviously. So it could die at pretty much any second here. Let me try to, oh, there's no way I'm going to get to all of these dates. So there's deaths as well here. So I'm not sure if it was repeated here, but let me go on to the holidays and observations here. So there's a list of Christian feast days: Avitus, Aevis, Palladius, Lauratia, Pelagia, Eastern Orthodox and Roman Catholic churches, Rep Orata, San Erasto, Che Grava, as a folk saint, Bolivia, Campesinos, Simeon, Gospel of Luke, Thais, William Dwight Porter Bliss, and Richard T. Ellie, Episcopal Church. October 8th for Eastern Orthodox liturgics, World Space Week, Air Force Day, Arbor Day, Nambida, Children's Day, Iran, Navy Day, Peru, International Lesbian Day, National Fluff or Noodle Day, and then there's the references there. So enjoy. Zero viewers, 0 thumbs up. So there you are.